Hello, my name is Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to take a look at doing a sauteed chicken breast. So we're going to take a chicken breast and we're going to flatten it like we did before, and then we're going to go ahead and dredge it in flour and saute it, and then we'll dress it with some sauteed peppers and a little bit of feta cheese. So let's get cooking. Okay, now that we have our chicken breast, what I want to do is show you how to flatten it. This is a trick restaurants do all the time, because if you tried to cook it just like this, what's going to happen is this end is thick, this is thin, this is going to cook, done, but this isn't going to be done, and you're just going to have a mess. So we want to flatten it all to about a ½ inch. Now, you don't want to overdo it because you will actually tenderize it till it's like stringy. So you want to use your mallet, and if you don't have a mallet, I mean, sometimes I use a saute pan or a cast iron pan or whatever you got, and you don't want to just like Polk smash it, okay? You want to work it, all right? Because I don't want to tear that top surface of the skin. So what I'm doing here is I'm just moving the mallet around and I'm causing it to smash out, all right? If I just went whack, Polk smashed it, I could actually break through right there, okay, and tear the surface of the chicken. So I'm just going to go around like this, and I'm just going to keep doing it until I'm at a thickness of about a ½ inch. Okay, and it's important too, if you notice, I have it in 2 pieces of saran wrap, and that's the way you do it. Some people say, oh, I don't need the saran wrap, and they put it on their counter and they start doing this and they get chicken pieces everywhere. Okay, so this is what you want to do, and here we are. We're at about a ½ inch thick, nice even thickness, and then we're going to be able to cut this however we need to. So now that we have our chicken pounded, we just want to cut it into pieces that we can saute. So I'm just going to, kind of cut here, and then I'll just cut here. And then these will be our serving portions that we'll saute. And then the next step now is we're going to dredge them, and then we'll be able to saute them. Okay, so what we have is we have our 10-inch pan. We have enough olive oil to coat the bottom of the pan, and we want to let it heat up a little bit until it starts to smoke a little bit. And then over here you can see my flour. I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to dredge it. And I'm going to dredge it on the one side, and then the last side I'm going to do is that side that the skin was on, that factory edge as I call it. And then I'm going to take it and put it right into my saute pan. Now, you want to put it in here when the oil is ready. As soon as I drop this chicken in, it should start sizzle-sazzling. So you can test it. You touch the edge, it starts to sizzle, lay it in. Okay, and do the same thing. And remember, the reason we're dredging it in the flour is because there's not a lot of fat there that's going to brown, and this is going to allow us to get a really nice brown surface. So I'm going to put this one next to it. Okay, when you do this, you never want to overcrowd your pan. Okay. And the other thing is we just want to let it cook. A lot of times people want to go ahead and move it. What happens is when it first hits the pan, it's actually going to stick a little bit, okay? And then when it really gets to a nice color, it releases. And then at the same time, we're just sauteing off these peppers. These are just rainbow peppers. I just have some red ones, some yellow ones, some orange ones, and all I'm trying to do is give them just a little bit of color. And then what's going to happen is when these are ready, I'm going to flip them. And I'm at like medium-high heat. I don't want to have too much. And what I'm going to do then is when I flip them, I'm then going to saute some onions and a little garlic and make a simple pan sauce. So this is a real easy dish that you can do your chicken any way you want, and then you can add anything else you want. You could do caprese or anything like that. So let me take a little peek here. You can't see, but I can. Oh, it's looking good. Almost there. Let's check out this guy. He went in first. Oh, that's beautiful. Just a little bit longer. And what we're looking for is that real nice golden brown edge, okay? And that's the searing. Okay? So we're going to stir these. All right. Let's take a look. All right, I'm going to flip that guy over. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Flip that one over. And now we're going to do the other side. That's beautiful. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cook that until it's done, till it's 165. And then we're going to go ahead and deglaze the pan. Okay, so let's take a look at the other side. Oh, that's beautiful. So we're going to pull these guys on a plate. You can cook them till they're 165. Or if you didn't cook them to 165, you could par cook them, and then you could finish cooking them in the oven. Now this is a really nice trick of mine. As you know, I love to deglaze. This is what I call onion deglazing. And that is, I love to take the onions in here, and I love to just bring them around the pan. Look at all that goodie is in the bottom of the pan. That's the flavor. And it's not burnt. Now if it was burnt, don't do this. Okay, if you happen to have burned your stuff, then it's going to taste bitter. All right, and if your food tastes bitter, then I'm bitter. So we don't want that. So we saute these up. Oh, look at that. Don't they look great? Okay, and all we're doing is just giving them some color. This is going to be part of our sauce. And this is just a couple tablespoons or so of some sweet onion. And now we're going to take a clove of garlic and put that in there. Now, one thing with garlic is you can't saute it too much, all right, because it'll start to get bitter. So we just bring it around. Oh, if you could smell that fragrance, that aroma, bring that around. And now is my favorite part of cooking. Okay, I love the deglazing because it unlocks the flavor. This is just chicken stock, about a half cup. I'm going to pour about a little bit of it in. You can't pour too much. You see that sizzle? Scrape, scrape, scrape like there's no tomorrow. And look at that. That clean pan is what you want because that means all of your flavor is locked inside, okay? And the person that washes your dishes is going to love it too because it's nice and clean. So the last thing we're going to do is put the rest of our cider in. Our chicken stock. And we're going to let this come to a boil. And we're going to let it reduce just a little bit, okay? And in the meantime, we'll check out our peppers for garnish. I just wanted to saute them to give them a little color. They look great. Okay, so we'll turn those off. And then we're just going to let this come up to a simmer. And then once it comes up to a simmer, what we're going to want to do is put in a little bit of butter. And that's what makes kind of the French sauce. So we're going to let this simmer. All right, so we're almost ready to finish our simple pan sauce. It's important to tell you that you notice I took the chicken out. That's important. When you get that beautiful that Maillard reaction, that caramelization that happens on the chicken, if you put that in with this liquid, it's going to get washed away. Okay, so that's why we have to take it out, do it separate. We reduce this to about a half, and then in true, French fashion, we're going to turn off our heat, and we're going to put in a knob of butter, as they say. We're going to put in about a tablespoon of unsalted butter, and we're just going to stir that into the sauce, and that's going to serve to thicken it. And it's also going to add that, I always say velvety. It just gives it that mouth feel. Okay, and doesn't that just look like a real nice sauce? And I don't want it super thin. Okay, when it rests a little bit, it's going to tighten up a little. But it just has a beautiful look that's going to go on top of that chicken and just give it that moisture and give it that extra layer of flavor. So now let's take a look at plating. Okay, so now we're going to finish our sauteed chicken. And what you're going to do is one of the things that we like to do in the restaurant a lot of times is we'll go ahead and cut the chicken on the bias. And what that means is you'll just go down and make a couple slices like this. And what that does is it does a couple things. One is it shows the customer that it's done. The other thing is it allows the sauce to go into the chicken. And it kind of stretches it out a little bit. Okay? So I'll do that again. And remember, whenever you do that, you always want to cut perpendicular to the grain of the meat. Okay? You would never want to go in parallel. We always want to go against it. And then we'll take that piece and put that on there. And that just looks awesome. And now that it's on there, what we're going to go ahead and do is put some of our pan sauce. And now I'm going to try to get some of the pan sauce that has the onions and everything on top. Oh, that is so nice. Okay, I'm going to put that on top. And then I'm going to try to get some of the sauce, just sauce, And just kind of do like a little drizzle around there. Okay, that looks really nice. And then to finish, again, you can finish chicken like this tons of ways. I'm just going to put some peppers on top. I got these sauteed peppers that I did, the orange and the red and whatnot. I'm just going to put them on there to have some fun. And then the last thing I'll do is just a little bit of the feta cheese. The feta cheese gives you that little bite, that tanginess, and it just kind of works with the sauce and with everything. So here you can see one way to do chicken. The main part of this lesson wasn't to make this dish. It was to learn how to get a really nice sear on the chicken, on how you put it in the dredging flour, and then you cook it, and then you make a nice pan sauce. Those are techniques that you need to know how to do. You need to be able to dredge your chicken and get a real nice saute, get it cooked correctly, and then be able to deglaze and use that to make a really nice pan sauce. So there you go. And I'd like to thank you for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.